Today's video is on solving inequalities. So I'm going to show you addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division inequalities and show you how to graph them. All right, so just a reminder, if we see the greater than or the less than symbols, remember this one is greater than, this one is less than, we will have an open circle for both of those, and then our arrow goes to the right for greater than, and our arrow goes to the left for less than. So let's start solving. I have x plus 5 is less than 9. So my x is on the left-hand side, and with that I have plus 5. So I need to do the opposite, which is to subtract 5, and I do that on both sides. All right, next I see a plus 5 and a minus 5 makes 0, so I'm left with x is less than, and 9 minus 5 is 4. All right, so now we need to graph. Remember, whenever we're graphing, we only need 3 numbers. We need the number that it's on, one below, and one above. So I have 3, 4, and 5. Now, because this is the less than symbol, I'm going to use these rules. I need an open circle at 4. X is less than 4, but not equal to 4. And then if I want to be less, remember less is left, so I go to the left. And we can check this. Do you see how 3 is underneath the arrow? That means 3 is a possible value of x. Is 3 less than 4? Yes, it is. All right, on the next one, we have y minus 7 is greater than 6. So with y, I have minus 7, so I need to do the opposite, plus 7 on both sides. All right, so we see the minus 7 and the plus 7 cancel out, leaving us with y is greater than 6 plus 7 is 13. All right, let's graph. So we have 13 in the middle, 1 less is 12, and 1 more is 14. I want y to be greater than 13, but not equal to 13. So we're going to use the open circle on 13, and we're going to draw the arrow to the right because we want everything greater. Things that are bigger go to the right. We can check. If we take the number 14, which is under the arrow, is 14 greater than 13? Yes, it is. All right, 2 more examples. Greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. Both will use a closed circle. Greater than will go to the right and less than will go to the left. So we have over here y is, divided by 2 is less than or equal to negative 5. Here we have division, so if I'm dividing by 2, the opposite of that is to multiply by 2 on both sides. Remember that makes multiplying by 2 and dividing by 2 cancel. So we have y is less than or equal to negative 5 times 2. Remember your triangle for this. A negative and a positive leave us with a negative, negative 10. All right, and then let's graph it. Be careful with your negatives whenever you're drawing your number line. Remember, the left is less, so what's less than negative 10? What's more negative than negative 10? That's negative 11. And then less negative is negative 9. That's greater. Okay, so because I see y is less than or equal to negative 10, I get to put a closed circle. I put a full circle, close it in on negative 10 because it could equal negative 10. And then I want less, so I'm going to go to the left to go towards negative 11. All right, we can check this. Negative 11 is less than or equal to negative 10. That is true. Negative 11 is less. It's more negative. It has less value. All right, and the last one. Again, we have a less than symbol here, but I'm going to show you something very important before we graph, that this is actually a greater than situation. All right, so we have negative 12 is less than or equal to 4n. So here we see multiplying between the 4 and the n, so we need to do the opposite, which is divide by 4, divide by 4. So we're actually dividing here. All right, so 4 divided by 4 is just 1n, and we have our symbol, and then negative 12 divided by 4 again. Think about our units. We have a positive 4 and a negative 12. That leaves us with a negative 3. All right, now, you will notice that this says negative 3 is less than or equal to n. Whenever we graph inequalities, the variable has to come first. So I'm going to take this whole thing and flip it around, okay? So this becomes n, flip the symbol, is greater than or equal to -3. That's what I'm going to graph. If your variable is not the first thing that you're reading, you're very likely to graph it the wrong direction. Okay, so we have -3 in the middle, less than -3 is -4, and more is -2. Okay, we're going to put a closed circle on -3 because we've got that that equal to line right here. See, it's got an equal to line. And then n is greater, so I'm going to go to the right towards where my positives would be. All right. So that's how we solve and graph our inequalities. The last thing I want to do is show you 2 word problems and show you how to find those keywords to then write an inequality for the problem. So Maggie has $15. She needs at least $32 to buy the jacket she wants. Write an inequality to solve for how much money she needs for the jacket. Okay, at least is our key word here, and if you look at your notes from yesterday, you'll see that at least means that we need $32 or more. Okay, 32 or more, which means we're going to use the greater than or equal to, because she could have $32. That's at least 32, but she could also have more. Okay, so we're going to do greater than or equal to 32, and then let's do what's on the other side. Okay, so she has 15. She needs more money. We want to know how much more money. That's going to be our variable. Let's call it x. Okay, so she needs to add more money to her $15, and once she adds the more money, it needs to be greater than or equal to $32. So this is our inequality that we could solve for this problem. All right, next one. Katie earns $8.50 per hour working at a part-time job. She wants to earn more than $100 this week. Write an inequality to find how many hours Katie has to work. Okay, very simple. This says more than 100. More than 100 is another way of saying greater than, so more than 100. Now, it's not greater than or equal to. $100 won't work. She has to have at least $100.01. 101, okay? More than 100. Now, she gets $8.50 per hour. This sounds like multiplication to me. So we're going to multiply. So I want my $8.50, and then let's do times h for hours. So $8.50 times h has to be greater than 100. That's our inequality. Make sure you take your notes and copy the examples.